Do you know what the most common misconception about success is? Well, that's what you will learn about in today's episode of the Growth Philosophy podcast. Learning about this myth, this misconception about success is not just important, it is essential. Absolutely essential in order for you to have a better and a happier life. So stay tuned to learn more. Hello everyone, this is Salik and welcome to another episode of the Growth Philosophy podcast, a bite-sized weekly podcast focused on empowering you to think better and upgrade your life. So let's talk about success today. And here's the thing about success. There's a widespread idea, a myth, if you will, of what success truly means. This concept, this idea of what success truly means is really widespread. It has spread to nearly every part of the world. Want to know about this myth, this misconception? It is that success equals to money. It is that success equals to money. This is how most people think about success. They measure success by monetary gains, and as a result, making money becomes the standard measure for success. But there is a fundamental problem with this standard definition of success. Because people are not really after money, just for its own sake. Look, money, those are just pieces of paper. Surely you're not just after pieces of paper. What's the point of that? So, no one is after money just for its own sake. They're after money for what it represents. Money is just a means to an end. And you know what the end is nearly always? It is happiness. So what people are really after isn't money. What they're really after is happiness. Money is just the catalyst. It is just a facilitator. It is just the means to that end. What people are really after is happiness. So success is not about money. Money is just the means to that end. People chase after these financial gains and money in order to gain happiness and end up deciding that money is what success is all about. And that's a massively flawed idea. And this creates a lot of problems. This misconception is why a lot of people stay unhappy even after achieving financial and career success. And this is also why the happiest people in the world are not the richest. And don't even get me started on the can of worms that this sort of thinking opens when people resort to all sorts of things, often illegal and immoral things, in order to make money. Money is just a means to an end. But when people prioritize money as the main goal, it causes a huge amount of problems. Here's the reality about happiness. How wealthy you are, how much money you have, is never directly proportional to how happy you are. There is absolutely no direct correlation. If happiness was all about having money and financial success, then all the successful and wealthy people in the world would be happy, right? But as you know, many of them are not. You see news about all these really wealthy and seemingly successful celebrities who are not happy, who are actually famously unhappy. Far too many of them are incredibly depressed, to the point where many of them commit suicide. And these are seemingly extremely successful people because they have attained a lot of money through what they do. So money is never the route to success. It is never what ultimately leads to happiness. But believing that money is what leads to happiness causes problems. And I have some personal experience of this. There was a point in my own life when money was my main goal. It was not just my main goal, it was my only parameter for success. But that came at a great cost to my health and well-being. I was a hardcore workaholic. I was working 20 hours a day, most days, even weekends. I wasn't taking any time off. And even though the business I was working on did really well, I did not. And that took quite a toll on me, the effects of which took me years to reverse. But that's a story for another day. So here's the point I want to get across today. Here's the point I want you to understand. It is that success is not about money. It never has been, and it never will be. But believing success to be all about making money not only creates the wrong priorities, it also takes a toll on you, especially on your health and your well-being. All that said, money is not evil. So don't get me wrong, money isn't bad. That's not what I'm saying. Having money is a great thing. Money is a great facilitator. After all, money does make the world go round. But money is not, has never been, and never will be everything. Money is a great tool, but it is not everything. So it never should be your main priority. Having money can and does make your life easier. But the pursuit of money for the sake of happiness is a problematic pursuit. It is a deluded pursuit. And it is ironic too, pursuing money to gain happiness, because this pursuit for money is often what leads to unhappiness, stress, and even health issues. So do you see the irony in that? People keep on chasing money to become happier, but as a result of this pursuit for money, they actually end up more unhappy, more stressed, and more unhealthy. So it's incredibly ironic. This chasing of money is of course why a lot of people get sick due to overworking and too much stress. It's a massive irony. It is ridiculous if you really think about it. So money is not everything, and it should not be your main priority. If happiness is what you're after. But like I mentioned earlier, money is not bad. So don't get me wrong, I'm not against money. Quite the opposite. This talk today is by no means a manifesto against financial success. Like I mentioned before, money is important. My point is not to demonize money, but rather to give you perspective on how important it is. It is important. Money is very important, but it is not the most important thing in life. And that's all I want you to understand. Money is important, but it is not the most important thing in your life. So why do I want you to have this perspective? Why do you need this perspective? Well, you need this perspective because most people tend to think of money as the most important thing in life. And they chase after it, believing that it will lead them to happiness. So what they're really after, the end goal, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, is not money, it's happiness. So what they're really chasing after, what people really chase after, at the end of the day is happiness. But they decide to prioritize money over everything else, or end up treating it as their main priority in order to achieve happiness. When in reality it does not. Money is useful, but it alone can never lead to happiness. Let's face this, if money was the most important thing, and if it alone was enough to make people healthy and happy, then having lots of it would make everyone happy and healthy. So anyone who has any amount of money would be happy. But the reality is that is not the case. Not everyone who has money is happy. Think about this for a moment. If happiness is the end goal, if happiness is your end goal, then how much money do you really need? Do you need as much as you think? Do you need to work hours you don't want to, or prioritize making money over your health or your relationships? And The simple answer to that is no, you don't. If you dig really deep, you will come up with that answer. I hope you can see by now that if you are prioritizing money over the things that actually make you happy, like spending time with the people you care about, spending time doing things you care about, being healthy, and so on, you're doing something that, at the end of the day, does the opposite of making you happy. Chasing money to lead to happiness is the wrong strategy. It is a flawed plan because it prioritizes the wrong thing. It's important to understand your priorities. So, realize that you don't need to work yourself to the bones. You don't need to work day and night to create the life you really want. You don't need to work as much as you do, or you don't need to keep on chasing after money to be happy and successful. Often enough is all you need, especially when that enough helps you avoid extra stress and gives you more time to spend as you want. So you might be able to work a decent number of hours, if not less hours even, to make enough money, and then use the rest of the time to do the things you love, including things like spending more time with the people you love and care about, or doing things that you enjoy. So having your priorities straight is important. That saves you a lot of unnecessary struggle, and not to mention stress and unhappiness. At the end of the day, money is just a tool, but it is not the ultimate goal. Money is a tool, but not the ultimate goal. So getting clear on what your definition of success is comes in handy in regards to this. Often we adopt this definition of success that is perpetuated by society at large. So we grow up with this idea of financial success being the only definition of success. This is usually why in most parts of the world, financial success is widely seen as the epitome of success. But the truth is very different. That definition of success is so far from the actual truth, because money is not the only parameter for success. It is not even the most important parameter for success. What is success all about? Really think about it. What is success all about? Everyone doing all these things to attain success. Ultimately, it's all about attaining happiness. So money cannot be the only parameter for success. It never has been, and it never will be. If it was, we would not count athletes and actors and performers and so on as successful. Many of them are not financially successful. Yet think about some of the most successful and well-known people in the world. Like Van Gogh. He is without a doubt one of the most accomplished and successful people in history. Even people who aren't familiar with art know about him. But you know what the thing about him is? He was not financially successful. There are many more people like that. Far too many people known throughout history who are deemed incredibly successful but had very little or no money. Success is not about money. It is about impact, absolutely, but it is not about money. So success in reality has never been about money, and it never will be. How much money you make can certainly be counted as an accomplishment, yes, but there are many things that can count as accomplishments, not just how much money you have. So for me, for example, I count being able to communicate in 4 languages as a great accomplishment. It is something that makes my life easier, especially when I'm traveling. And I'm pretty damn proud of a lot of other things too, like writing my first book in 7 days and the number of people I've personally helped improve their lives, and so on. So those are accomplishments that are far more valuable to me than money. And the same can be said about you. There will be things in your life too that count as accomplishments, things you are, at least should be, proud of. Everyone has successes and accomplishments even if they don't realize it. Having that self-awareness can help you become happier. That awareness of your own accomplishments can also help you realize the truth about your own successes and capabilities. So here's the bottom line. The truth about success. The concept of success is extremely subjective, like nearly everything in our lives. It all comes down to our perception, to how we view things and what we believe. Let me give you another example. Consider someone making $100 a day. This person would be counted as doing just okay in the West. Just okay, not wealthy. Definitely not. $100 is not a lot of money in the West. But take the same amount of income and place this person in a poor country, and they would be classified as wealthy. Especially when you consider how many people around the world make less than $1 a day. $1 a day. So it is all about perception. What you believe about success is about how you perceive it. This, of course, is why the concept of mindset and the way you think is so incredibly important, and why having a growth mindset is so useful. Like I said, it's all about perception, so how you think is incredibly important. You can learn more about mindset and developing a better one in the past podcast episodes of the Growth Philosophy podcast. I'll also add a few links to more additional resources in the description section, including my book on a 7-day program to adopt a better mindset. So check that out if you want to learn more about mindset and upgrading your mindset. As for money and financial success, go for it by all means, but not at the expense of the other important things in your life. Think about your priorities and prioritize well. Understand your priorities and then go after them accordingly. You don't need to be a millionaire to be happy. Realize that. You need just enough money, especially if your end goal is achieving a happy and a good life. So before I end today, I have a small exercise for you. Something that will help you not just now, but in the long term too. So it is worth doing. And it will only take a few minutes, so do it. And here is what I want you to do right now. So grab a pen and paper and think about your priority. Here's the question I want you to think about. What is truly important for you in life? What is truly important for you in life? Think about that question. And I mean really think about it. And then answer it in as much detail as possible. Write it. Don't type it. Writing things down physically has a great way of clarifying things and also helps to solidify the information in your brain. So write it down. This exercise can be really useful in clarifying your priorities. Get clarity on what you're really after and your definition of success. Understand whether you're chasing financial success for your own sake or for the sake of others. When you get such awareness, when you start to think clearly and think better, you start the process of upgrading your life. So pay attention to your thoughts. I hope you found today's talk useful. If you have not already, subscribe to the podcast to get updates on my future talks. I'll catch you again next Monday. Until then, take care of yourself and your thoughts, and remember, think better to upgrade your life.